Hi everyone, it's Phil here again. I had a couple of questions about how I had put the master together for the Andrew Huang first song. So I thought I'd do a little video just to show you my master chain and how I did that. So here's my project window in Cubase. And these are the plugins that I used on the master chain. So it's pretty similar to the exact set that Andrew used and recommended in his training course, with a couple of additions. And the way I've got this set up is similarly to Andrew. I don't bounce out the mix and then master it separately as a separate WAV. I do it all in the box. As and when my computer has enough CPU to run all the plugins that I've got. So if we have a look at the master group here, so up here I've got, this is the master group, so everything goes through the master group, and I just do some basic processing. I talked in the last video about bass room, mix room. I've also got this nice little plugin called Endless Smile over here, which is how I use some of the build-up, do some of the build-ups. But then at the end of that chain, I've got Fab Filter, the Fab Filter limiter. So I'm just taking off the peaks in the mix. I'm not looking to increase the volume particularly at that stage, just trying to even it out a bit. Often I will put a bit of compression on every channel, just a little bit, just to even everything out, and it gives you that extra headroom in terms of getting the maximum loudness. The question was specifically about how did I get it so loud without it distorting, and that, to be honest with you, I've spent a long time trying to work out how best to do that, and it for me is still a bit of trial and error, but I thought I'd take you through how I did it. So if I just run the track, so here we can see the limiter. And this is on the mix bus, so it's just taking the tops off. What I'd normally do is work out what's creating those peaks and then either compress that channel or adjust the EQ or the volume without having to limit it or to reduce the amount of limiting that I do. So the Pro limiter is serving two purposes. One is it's showing me where the peaks are, which I might adjust separately, but it's also then applying just a little bit of limiting to take those peaks out. So if I then move to, that's the end of the track, so let's just stop it there for a moment. So this is my master chain here. So I've got the UAD plugins. I'm very fortunate to have a set of UAD plugins. So the Precision Maximizer, I didn't actually have that, and I've not used it before. So this is on a 14-day trial. So that was the first plugin in the chain that Andrew recommended. I haven't got it quite as hot as he had. I found it was distorting if I maximized it too much. Then I'm going through the Pultec EQ, and the settings are the same as Andrew had, and then through the precision equalizer. What I've then done is added in black box, which adds a bit of saturation to the overall master. It just warms the whole thing up a little bit. You have to be careful you don't overdo it, but it works really nicely just to add a bit of warmth to the overall master. And then finally, as Andrew had, the precision limiter at the end. So if I just go back, let's just go back to somewhere nearer the beginning. Because what I also do is you can see this plugin here called Levels. I think in the last video I mentioned tonal balance to monitor and look at the frequency response and range across the track and trying to get it within this bandwidth here. But I've also the mix room and bass room, the company that made that, Mastering the Mix I think they're called, also do this product called Levels. So this is monitoring all sorts of different things. It's looking at the moment, here's the peak levels, it looks at the loudness levels, you can look at the dynamic range, the stereo field, the bass space, although I've not actually used that yet. I mainly use it to try and balance, get the levels correct, both from a loudness point of view and from a peak point of view. And you can see if I put my meter on here, you see there I'm monitoring the loudness and just checking these against the levels plugin, which I found really useful. But also I can measure the peak, the RMS values as well. So it's a case of getting the compression and the limiting balance such that you can increase the volume but not lose the dynamic range, and that just takes a bit of practice, to be honest. But this plugin is very useful, and you can see these are all green, which means they're okay. There's also a website, I'll try and dig it out, where you can upload your WAV file, your song, and it assesses it for the different platforms, for Spotify and YouTube and so on, just to see the degree to which they might reduce the volume. I think when you look at this, I'm a little bit hot on the loudness. It should be, for Spotify, I think about -14, so it's a little bit hot. So that would, if I were to release this, they would turn the volume down on that. So that's the plugin chain, and so, as I say, the only addition is this black box plugin. There's a really good YouTube video about black box. Dom Sigalis, who works for Yamaha Steinberg, he has his own channel, because I use Cubase, so he's a Cubase user, but he did a review on the hardware version of this compared to this plugin, and it was recently on sale. So, and I just love it. It adds a real warmth, as I say, to the overall master. Anyway, hopefully you found that useful. Let me know whether these videos are useful, and I'll carry on doing them. And good luck with Song 2. See you in the portal.